So, when we speak of presence, we often think of it as something we need to practice, mm, that we have to really bring ourselves into the present moment or become more mindful, become less distracted, pay more attention to what is here. And that can be helpful, and that can be valuable when we're caught up in the endless movement of thought, to pause, to breathe, to feel the body, yeah, and to disentangle ourselves from that endless movement of thought. Mm. But the deeper knowing of presence, the non-dual knowing of presence is much deeper than any practice. It's not something that the separate self has to learn to do. It's not a better state of mind. It's not an achievement, a spiritual achievement. It's the recognition of the aware presence in which all experience appears. It's always here. Everything that we call my life is always here in this aware openness. The body, the personality, the mind, the story, the emotions, the yearning for freedom. All of this appears here. And all of this appearance comes and goes. Only the silent presence does not come and go. The silent presence that knows experience, not separate from experience, not standing back from experience, but that which holds experience. It's not that we have to become more present. It's just that presence is overlooked because attention is most often fascinated by objects, the object of our experience, whether it's thought or feeling or what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow, or the image of myself, the problem of myself. So then attention simply gets narrowed in onto that image, that thought, that story, that problem. And when attention becomes narrowed in, it's as if we are located in that narrow band. And then we have a limited and somewhat erroneous view that I am this person moving through time, trying to be more present. So the invitation is to expand the view. To expand the view doesn't come through some mental acrobatics or intellectual knowledge base. To expand the view is the relaxation of attention. The relaxation of attention allows the veil of me as a separate self trying to get somewhere with a past and a future to come undone. To realize that the past exists now or appears now. The past appears now as a memory. The memory is now. The future appears now as an imagination. The sense of being someone with a history and perhaps a destination appears now. It cannot appear anywhere else. But all these movements of past and future and thought and sensation and memory and emotion and image are not who we are. They're movements inside who we are. All of these movements appear in presence, the presence of now. There isn't anything else. Presence isn't limited to feeling peaceful or calm. Presence doesn't say no to any experience. It doesn't say no to disturbance and yes to silence. It doesn't say no to contraction and yes to openness. It's unconditional. It doesn't exist because of any condition. It's like the sky. It's like the sky, unmoving, infinite, eternal, by its very nature, empty. It's not defined by the clouds or the storms or the sunlight. No weather system changes the essential nature of sky. It doesn't make it retract or move towards anything. There is night, there is day. There is sun, moon, stars. But none of this changes the nature of sky. Just as nothing that you experience, that appears in your experience as this thing called my life, actually changes the nature of presence. The recognition of this doesn't make you detached from life. It doesn't make you indifferent or passive. Mm. It's not that the human experience doesn't matter. It simply means that we're not contracted around the story of me. And paradoxically, without being contracted around the story of me, you are free to be more intimate with life, not less. Because there's no veil of the imaginary self between you and what is. It's more intimacy with what is, more tenderness, more honesty, more capacity to meet what is here. But that capacity to meet what is here isn't dependent on making an effort. You don't have to try. It's simply the natural openness of presence itself. Presence and openness are one and the same. You don't have to try to welcome everything or say yes to everything. It already is. Everything is already welcomed because it is. It's already here. This is a subtle but important shift. Very often there's the invitation to welcome everything. And then the separate self takes that and turns it into a task, a spiritual method, trying to accept this feeling, trying to become more open. It's another strategy. Acceptance becomes another strategy. Openness becomes another strategy. Presence becomes another project for the self. So what's being invited here is not a invitation for you to move towards life or move towards experience in order to be more present, but a resting back, a falling into the vastness in which this experience is already held. Already held. You don't have to make yourself open. Simply notice the openness that is already here. It's so close, closer than your breath. It's the very essence of this moment. Yes, silence, meditation, nature, even beauty and grief or loss or love can highlight this vibrant presence. But it's not dependent on that. All that's happening in those situations is that the usual momentum of mind is interrupted. For a moment, the mind stops, the heart opens, and then there is just this vibrant, intimate wholeness of what is. So presence isn't dependent on being silent or meditating or nature, or it's not dependent on that. It's just that these, if you like, pauses reveal what's here. But you don't have to wait for the perfect moment. Presence can be recognized in every moment, in any moment, in the midst of ordinary life. Washing the dishes, walking the dog, even answering emails. It's right here. It's right here when you stop fighting with what is. Stop arguing with reality. Stop moving away from or towards anything that you experience. That is the relaxation. That is the falling back into now. You're not falling back, you're falling into. In fact, it's not you that's falling anywhere. It's just a way of describing a doorway that opens, that was previously not seen. It's not dramatic, this realization or recognition. It's not dramatic. It's very intimate, very quiet, very ordinary, and yet profoundly transformative. The tight band, the tight grip on my life starts to soften. The whole struggle of the separate self starts to come undone. Yes, Life continues. The body still needs to be taken care of. The patterns of the mind still continue. Relationships or work or the world still call for our response, our listening. But something has fundamentally changed. When you don't live from the contraction of identity, then you live from a deeper dimension, which is really the groundless ground of being. You live from the open, radiant, silent presence, which is not separate from life. This is freedom. Freedom not from experience, but within experience. Not freedom from the human, but freedom as the openness within which the human is experienced. And then being or presence or openness or awareness and life are not two. They're not two things. They're one. Awareness and appearance are one. The unmoving nature of presence and the movement that is experienced within presence are not two. They are one. This is non-duality. Again, you don't have to wait for enlightenment or the perfect moment. This is an ongoing invitation in the ordinary life, whether it's challenging, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it's pleasurable, however it is the invitation to stop. Not stop by efforting, not stop by suppressing, but simply relax. Stop seeking yourself in the next. Stop seeking anything in the next. It's the falling away of any unnecessary effort to control life, manage life, separate yourself from life. No. Simply notice the open awareness in which this life, this moment is always appearing. There is no one here who needs to be more present. You are this. You're never separate from this. And then gradually, irrevocably, the light of presence, the light of being, the light of your essential nature comes to be known more and more, comes into the foreground, filters into experience. This is enlightenment. It's not a one-time affair. It's an ongoing invitation.